Okay, we're here. I figured out the problem. It Okay, hang on because I got to go over here. No, darn it. Give me just a second. Okay. I now know what happens. Of course, we don't have anybody here, which is annoying, but it is what it is. For future reference, um, let me one more time try to announce that we are live. That's there. Okay, we're here. We're here. While we are waiting, uh, I'll do it this way. I don't think this is gonna work, but we're gonna try it this way. Okay. Wow, nobody here. I know you guys think that shouldn't matter. Oh, we're gonna watch it later. It matters. If this is gonna be how this is gonna be, we're done. Uh, I actually get harassed by idiot magicians who say this video is me talking to myself. Nobody cares about what I'm saying. So I'm going to say this. I'm tired of getting my feelings hurt. If there's no support, goodbye. If you're not learning anything in the group, goodbye. If you just want to make it, let's kick the shit out of Mark, goodbye. But I will do what I said I was going to do today. But don't be shocked if I don't ever do it again. Our discussion this morning, let me hang on and do this. See, it doesn't work when the iPhone is plugged in. It wants to use this camera. I had to go in and manually say, no, don't use this. So, and you can hear me, but you can't see me. A piece of advice I got from Don Viano years ago by way of Burling Hull, because it was Burling Hull's idea. Burling Hull said, if you see a trick advertised and you really like that trick, the first thing to do is figure out a way to do it. Now, in truth, that's a brilliant idea. It's a brilliant idea because it creates your ability to be creative. Most magicians nowadays, well, no, they don't create. They don't work out methods in their head. They just buy the trick. And like lemmings, oh, David Blaine did it. He's on television. I'll do it and I'll get on television. That's gone on in magic for over 100 years. But it's wrong. Figure out a way to do it. Now, is that the way it's done in the trick you saw? Who knows? Years ago, I saw a trick advertised on Steven's Magic I'm trying to think of the guy who came up with the interesting marked cards. Brain's not working so much anymore. Uh, Ted Leslie. And it was an amazing trick. You had a prediction beforehand that you handed to somebody. You had a jumbo deck of cards that were thoroughly shuffled and mixed by the audience member. You had an easel and a dry erase board on it. And they would put 5 cards on the stand of that easel. You would take a dry erase marker and you'd draw a big black dot. And you'd give the dot to the spectator, the marker, not the dot. She would put the marker on the dot and draw a line down to one of those cards. And you would recap. You would say, could have been any one of the 52. You shuffled, you picked 5, you put them here. You also picked one of the 5. Watch this. And then you went down to the audience and you opened the prediction. And let's say the prediction said 4 of hearts. No switches, no nothing. Then the lady on stage turns over the card she drew the line to. Well, you turn the other ones over first, and they're all different. And then she turns over hers, and it's the 4 of hearts. It matches. Wow. Great trick. And I said, well, how would you do that? My clue was Ted Leslie. So I knew the jumbo deck was marked with his marking system. So they can shuffle them till the cows come home, put 5 cards up there. You can see what the cards are. When she draws the line down, there's the card. It's going to be used. You can see what it is. The only thing I wasn't sure of was the prediction. So I came up with my own way. And you could mail this ahead of time. It would be in a sealed envelope. You open it up. There's a deck of cards. You take out the deck of cards. You run through it. One card is face down. Spectator takes it, turns it over. It's the 4. You turn those over. They're not. The one that's got the line to it is the 4. Marked deck, invisible deck. I use the invisible deck for predictions all the time. Now, did I ever buy the trick from Ted? No. Do I feel bad for coming up with my own way to do it? No. I didn't steal from anybody. Is it his method? Who knows? Now, I do have more than a little problem with Ted Leslie. No, with the Rick and Justin show. The fact of the matter is, they reveal a lot of magic and don't give a crap. And I'll never forget when Jamie let them post on the FCM forum on Facebook to excuse what they're doing. And Rick was a total jerk. We're all too old. We don't understand. Exposure moves magic forward. So, if that's true, Rick, eat your Wheaties. I'm going to expose every single trick of yours I ever see. No, I won't be a total ass. A total ass would be to buy one and show you how it works. I'm not going to give him my $50. But past, present, and future is kind of a fascinating trick. And I instantly came up with a way to do it. So because it uses tarot cards, let's define a few terms. First off, hang on, one is behind. Come here. These are tarot cards. Now, I wouldn't use these to make up this effect. The back is black like that, and you couldn't see writing. You would want to find a full deck of tarot cards that you could write on. Now, what you use for this is what we call the major arcana. Now, let me get through this and find. I must have put them back a little goofy here. You should have 22 cards of the major arcana. So I will quickly deal these down here. Okay. 22 cards. And you've got the major arcana, Wheel of Fortune, the Hermit, Strength, all that stuff. You're only going to need yeah, you could get 2 decks of tarot cards, but I wouldn't do it that way. Not with the method I think they're using, because it's possible they could see 2 of the same card that way, and that's wrong. You take your roughing stick, remember, our dear friend, and on the back of these, and again, we're going to assume you've got a different back that isn't black. You're going to divide the deck into three sets. Okay? One set is going to say past. The middle set is going to say present. And the third set is going to say future. Once that's written on there and it dries, you take your roughing stick and you rough the back of every single one of these cards. So you've got all the major arcana. It says either past, present, future, and you've roughed the back. Okay. Why am I getting messages? Now, you could, and I'm sure they probably do, have another set of the major arcana, 22 cards, that are stuck to the back. But if you do that, when you spread the cards out and put their card on the table, you could see another major arcana in there, and they're going to know you've got duplicates. So this is something I used back in the 70s and the 70s when disco was huge. I'll tell you my version of this later. So what we do, the regular cards or the minor arcana, you'll have cards that will say Ace of Wands, and then they won't say anything. Ace of Pentacles, King of Wands, Queen of Wands, Knight of Wands, Page of Wands. And you go through cards and you only pick the ones that have writing on the bottom. Because the odds are the people you're performing for aren't going to have a clue that those cards, like the Queen of Cups, the Knight of Cups, the Page of Cups, that those aren't the major arcana. And if one does know that, they're not going to select one of those. If somebody says, well, that's not in the major arcana, you're going to have to say, well, obviously somebody has been messing with my cards. But it won't change the effect. See, some of these, obviously, this is the 7 of Swords, but it says nothing. so it can't be confused for a major arcana card. Now, we're going to put those over there for right now. So now I've got, let's make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So I'm going to have to take 2 more cards from here to give me 22. Okay? This set, I'm going to rough the face. So I'm going to take the Knight of Wands in this idea, and I've roughing sticked the face, and I'm going to take the Wheel of Fortune that says past, present, or future on the back, and I'm going to rough the back, and I'm going to put them together. So I can turn the cards over and spread them, and you're not going to see any writing or anything. Then you turn them over, and I'm not going to go through all of that. You get the idea that, like so many of the things I've created for you, basically you got 2 cards stuck together throughout the whole thing. So these 22 cards are actually 44 cards, but nobody's paying attention. Now, this is what you do. Remember, I've got 3 sections of this deck. I've got past, present, and future. You turn to whoever you're doing this with, and you say, I want you to reach out, look at the cards, and whatever you feel drawn to, touch it. Now, I haven't done the math. David Ginn was here, he would have already done the math like 3 times. Excuse me. Okay. You're going to have 7 cards. One of them is going to have 8 cards. But so we're going to start, and I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hopefully by now they touch 1. 6. If I get to the 7th card and they haven't touched 1 yet, I take all of these, put them on the bottom, and I go again. They'll touch now. Once a card is touched, I know what it says on the back because of where it was. You put that face up on the table. And you then run to the end of that stack with the 7. So hang on, this is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and I cut those to the bottom. Remember, we haven't got a past yet. These are future cards. And again, really stay attuned. And I do again 7 cards. They touch 1. You get the idea. I'm going to force through that 7 card selection past, present, future. And then they're going to be on the table. And you're going to show. You're going to turn the cards over. And now you're going to individually show that none of them have anything written on them. Then you have them turn the cards over and they'll see past, present, and future. And they were the only ones written on. Turn them back up. Now, what they do is on the box, on the back, there's a cheat sheet. It'll say the lovers and give you a 1-word thing that card is about. And you just look down and then you just basically cold read and make a reading for them. Yeah, you can do that if you want. Personally, I don't think it's nearly as good as what I've got. And I taught it to you already, but I'll teach it to you again. As we know, the major arcana is 22 cards. That is not enough cards. If you remember, the card trick I taught you was 4, 8, 16, or 32. Then 64, and you can go on forever if you do it that way. 22 isn't enough, and I don't want to take 4 cards away. I could. I either take away 4 or I add 10. But I'm going to take away 4 to make this easy. So what I usually do is I take away cards that are kind of spooky, such as death, the devil, um, the fool, and I could use judgment. So now I've got 16 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Well, that's strange. I've got more than 16. So, well, yeah, because 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, 16 cards. Now, there's no nice way to put this. I did this a lot at discos. It wasn't my initial idea. Read the book Magic or watch the movie with Anthony Perkins and Anne Margaret. Anthony Perkins does a card trick called You Do As I Do. And that's how he gets Anne Margaret to go to bed with him. I said, hey, that's an idea, but it's just a card trick. So I did this card trick with tarot cards. Not going to say anymore. They can mix them up till the cows come home. Then they deal them into 2 piles. And yes, I taught you this trick before. So you'll have 8 cards in each pile. They pick any pile they want and they mix it up. And you tell them to do that. You say you want those cards to feel their energy. While they're doing that, you pick up the other pile and you mix that up. Now, it's hard to see because I've got this monitor tipped as far as it'll go. Both of you are going to cut cards, your own piles. Doesn't matter how thin or thick, cut the cards. Now, what she is going to do is look at her card, and we're going to say that it was the Hierophant. You've done the same thing, but you don't show hers. You don't, oh, you do show your card, you show. Let me put these down. When you cut, you're going to take your card and turn it face up and say, I've done this before. I am the guide. Now, listen, this is where things get a little screwy. Your pile with the face up card goes on the rest of her pile. She's got a pile in her hands. That's got to go on your pile. Your pile goes on top of hers. Her pile, which has the Hierophant in it, goes on top of yours. Now, Bob Hill says you can shuffle these decks independently and put one on top of the other, and it'll still work. Give it a shot. She can pick either one to go on top of the other one. That doesn't matter. She takes the cards, and you say, okay, we are going to go through the world together and let us see if the fates have opined that we should be together. So she deals them into two piles. When she does that, or he, if you're a girl magician, one card face up is going to end up in a pile. You get rid of the other cards. She picks up the pile that has the face up card in it and deals them out again. No face up card. Face up card. One last time. And you have this wonderful picture of face up, face down, and only two cards together. And of course, they match. Now, if you could force this one, which was in Live or Let Die, the first Roger Moore James Bond movie, which is another place I got the idea from. But I think that's a better trick. Nobody here. I think I'm going to stop. We're almost at 11 o'clock, and I think I've had enough of this. Frankly, if I explain the pendulum thing, that's really giving the farm away. And I don't think I should give it out for free. I think when you do this for free, that's the value people put on it. So, Svengoolie Tonight is another blaxploitation film, and it's not good. It's terrible. I didn't watch last week when they showed The Ghost and Mr. Chicken, and somehow his fans just love that movie. And now they're going to show the Beast with Two Heads or something. You got Rosie Greer, and you've got, I can't think of his name right now, and he's playing a racist, and they put his head on a black body. Just not for me. But probably for the last time, turn blue, scratch glass, don't get caught, and I wish you well. Bye-bye.